Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to welcome you to yet another promising session of my weekly price action based technical analysis. In this video, we will be delving into an insightful analysis of the USDJPY through a comprehensive price action perspective, and we are going to be exploring the recent movements and chart patterns to uncover key insights that can potentially shape our trading decision ahead of the new week. And before I go into the details of what our expectation is going to be like for today, I would like to share with you some of the key moments we had during the course of last week. It wasn't an easy ride last week as we saw price action went into a chopper situation during a consolidation phase. In fact, since the beginning of this month, price has been very indecisive based on this current structure. So let's see what we had during the course of last week. So at the beginning of the week, we identified a simple setup where price action was actually ranging above our weekly key level at the 140.00 level. And it was at this point we were thinking that price action will be going bullish. So we were waiting for a retest of the breakout of that resistant line at the 140.250 to join a bullish momentum. And in fact, we had our buy limit order triggered, and unfortunately, we had our first stop loss for the week as price action took us out of that position in a loss. And that led into our sell stop order triggered below the 140.00 level. And it was at this point we had our first sell position. We were able to recoup some of the losses we made at the beginning of the day, and price action went on to move to the downside here. So it was more of a sell position than leading into a situation where price was caught within a range, some buys, some sells, and until on the 7th of July, we saw an opportunity to buy actually when price broke out of the 140, but it didn't last long as we saw how price action broke back down, and then we had some selling opportunities below the 139.650 here, and we added more position. Then we saw price takes us out of that position again, and the momentum did not last long actually. So it was more of buys and sells. So we really did not make any significant profit as our positions didn't last long in the direction we were taking. So if you do want to have a review of this personally, well, I will be dropping the link to this commentary in the description box of this current video. And if you are watching this from my YouTube channel, you will be seeing the link at the top right hand side of your screen. So with that being said here, let's dive back into the current market structure, and my center of focus for this week is going to be on the 4 hours time frame, where I have been able to identify a simple setup that I think we can use for the coming week. And in fact, if you had been with me for quite a while now, you will see that the setup we have here still remains or a little bit um, the same with what we have been using in the last couple of weeks. So what I saw here, what I did on the 4 hours time frame was to take into consideration price action activity since the beginning of the month of May. And what I was able to come up with is an ascending channel, which further emphasize the level of buy pressure in this market. So after connecting the series of higher highs and higher lows here, we had this ascending channel, which has actually been guiding our trading activity for the last 7 weeks, I think. And one interesting thing about this whole structure is that as soon as the last week of the month of May, we saw how price action was caught within a range between the 140.950 level and the 138.800 level to give us an insight into the level of indecision in this market. And with a demand zone at the 138.00 area, and considering the fact that we are on a strong bullish momentum which has lasted over 6 to 7 weeks, it is more reasonable to look out for buying opportunity as long as price action remains above the 138.650 area which is serving as the demand zone for this current market structure. And if we look at what has been happening here in the last let's say the last couple of weeks, I have a trend line which emphasizes some lower highs here, which at first sight we will consider this as a signal that sellers are very present in this market. But one thing that negates this idea is the fact that price action is yet to find a lower low, as this demand zone still keeps holding by pressure, hereby giving us a sign that sellers are finding it difficult to break through the structure. Another key thing about this pattern, about this market structure here, is the fact that in the last 2 days, I think the second half of last week, we saw our price action broke down the support line of that ascending channel, came back to retest that structure on Friday, and on that Friday, we saw selling pressure around this area. Now, the question for this week is, will the sell pressure here lead into a situation where price will finally break down that demand zone for the first time in a month before we can start seeing signs that sellers are finally going to be gaining a momentum in this market? Or are we going to be having a situation where this demand zone was to hold, where price action will break back above the support line of this ascending channel to inside another wave of bullish momentum? So, in order to help us position ourselves in a very appropriate manner, I was able to identify a key level which we are going to be using for this week, and this level is situated along the 139.650 area, as you can see on your screen. And one interesting thing about this level is that it has been a major determinant of price action since the last week of the month of May. As you can see here, it was a demand zone around this level. It was also a demand zone here in the month of on the last trading day of the month of May. We saw this area was a demand zone. Then we saw it break down, retest again at the beginning of this month. We saw a little bit of choppy situations around here, and during the last day of last week, we saw this area serving as a selling niche. So at this point, you will agree that this 139.650 level is a very important area where we need to see how price action will be reacting to this zone at the beginning of the week to determine what our next line of action will be. So these are my views here on the USDJPY. But one more thing I would like us to take note of here, we also want to keep tabs with the fundamental aspect of the market. The importance of this is that these fundamental factors often manifest in technical patterns and price movement. And by monitoring the economic calendar, it helps us to identify potential correlations between the key economic releases and specific technical patterns. So I was able to spool out some handful of high impact events that we are going to be looking forward to this week from both economies, that is the US, the United States, and the Japan's economy. So on Tuesday 13th, we have the Consumer Price Index from the US economic docket. And on Wednesday, we have the Fed interest rate decision, Fed monetary policy statement, FOMC projection, interest rate projection, and FOMC press conference. And then on Thursday, June 15th, we have the retail sales data coming in. And then on Friday, June 16th, from the Japanese economic docket, we have their interest rate decision, monetary policy statement, and the press conference too as well. So you will agree with me that next week is jam packed with quite a high impact full of economic data that we are going to be looking forward to, which will obviously reflect on the chart as price action. So let's see, during the early hours of the week, I will be giving you an update after monitoring how participants in this market will be reacting to this level to give an insight into what our next line of action will be. I do hope you found this content helpful for your trading decision. And if it did, please show some support by giving it a thumbs up and liking the video. Your likes are valuable and helps the video reach more traders who could benefit from it. If you haven't already, consider following me by subscribing. Subscribing ensures that you never miss out on the latest ideas I share, as you will receive notifications whenever I upload new videos and commentaries. I hope I wish you a wonderful Sunday, and I look forward to seeing you right in the comment section on Monday. Do have a wonderful evening, everyone. Bye bye.